Chapter 61 The Hanzo Envoy is about to arrive. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After walking out of the conference room, Bai Ye always felt that he had forgotten something. Turning around to look at the conference room, with a vicious look, Bai Ye slammed the door and walked out. After hearing the clang of the door closing, Bai Ye nodded slightly, feeling a lot more comfortable in his heart. His personality in the Akatsuki organization was to oppose Yahiko, and being too gentle could easily arouse suspicion. After hearing the sound of Bai Ye's door slamming, Yahiko felt a lot more comfortable, but still a little worried. There is a tacit understanding between him and Bai Ye. If Bai Ye does not refute him in public, it means that he has acquiesced in his arrangement, and at least he will not cause trouble in secret. After all, although everyone has different ideas, in the final analysis they are all for the development of the Akatsuki organization. However, he tends to be on the good side and thinks about things in a positive way. While Bai Ye has always been willing to use the greatest malice to speculate on other people, after sighing in his heart, Yahiko continued to preside over the meeting about the Hanzo envoy and arranged a detailed interview process. He hoped that the Hanzo envoy would be satisfied with the Akatsuki organization. If the two sides can really have a friendly meeting this time, the Akatsuki organization will not have to worry about the threat from Yuin village and can develop with peace of mind for several years. If not, you have to prepare early. After all, his idol when he was young was Sancho Hanzo, but at that time, he was just a displaced orphan and not much of a threat, and now he is the leader of the Akatsuki organization, with more than 100 ninjas under his command. In the entire ninja world, he is considered a medium force. Even Hanzo-sama, the hero of the Land of Rain, is afraid. Unlike Yahiko, who was worried about the future of the Akatsuki organization, Byakuya was as understanding as ever. He never worried whether Yuin village would be unfavorable to the Akatsuki organization. In his heart, sooner or later there would be a battle between the Akatsuki organization and Yuin village. It was just a matter of time. However, in order to satisfy the secret audience, Bai Ye still looked unhappy. We walked all the way to the construction site where the ANBU was responsible for the construction. With a cold face, Bai Ye issued the order that he needed to work overtime today, and personally went to supervise the work to eliminate the possibility of the ANBU members being lazy and slippery. Facing Bai Ye's orders, the ANBU members did not dare to disobey them and became much more agile. After all, Bai Ye's face was so gloomy. Even a fool knew that Bai Ye was in a bad mood. If he added fuel to the fire, he would be asking for death. However, who dared to provoke Lord Bai Ye after taking advantage of the leopard's courage? Is it Yahiko, the leader of the Akatsuki organization? Or is there someone else? Huali, who was in charge of supervising the work, also noticed Bai Ye's expression, walked over and asked cautiously, "Sir Bai Ye, did you quarrel with Mr. Yahiko again?" Bai Ye looked at Huali and shook his head gently. There are just some differences on some small things. There are some differences on small things. Carrie doesn't believe it at all. In her opinion, the only people who can make Byakuya angry are the enemy and the leader Yahiko. The Akatsuki organization currently has no foreign enemies to invade, and the only possibility is its leader Yahiko. The interests of leader Yahiko and Lord Byakuya are obviously the same. There is no need to make a fuss. Why don't we all sit down and discuss it seriously? But she doesn't intend to get involved in this matter. Master Bai must have already made up her mind. Bai Ye stayed at the construction site for a whole afternoon, and Jue, who was hiding in the dark, also observed Bai Ye for a whole afternoon. Ever since he decided to train Bai Ye to become the next chess piece, he has been secretly observing Bai Ye, waiting for a suitable time to show up, and then gaining Bai Ye's trust, gradually exerting influence, making Bai Ye also become the implementer of the Eye of the Moon plan, increasing the probability of Mother's escape. However, Black Zetsu has not yet figured out how to contact Bai Ye. Judging from Bai Ye's current strength and performance, Jue could not guarantee whether he would arouse Bai Ye's vigilance after he showed up. After all, except for the arrogant Uchiha, anyone would be suspicious of his appearance. Once the seeds of doubt arise, any of his tricks and words will be ineffective. At this moment, Black Zetsu noticed that Bai Ye seemed to have finished writing something, left the paper clone on the spot, and walked towards the depths of the forest. What Byakuya wrote was naturally a mission report to Danzo. Based on the relationship between him and Danzo, it was natural for him to notify Danzo of important events such as Hanzo's envoy's visit, and at the same time urge Danzo to send the next batch of aid quickly. On the other hand, it was made for Uchiha Madara, who was hiding in the dark. After arriving at a cliff outside the base, Bai Ye channeled the Ninja Eagle. After putting the letter away, he turned and returned to the Akatsuki organization base. Seeing this scene, Jue's eyes suddenly lit up. He knew that Bai Ye had been secretly colluding with ninjas from other forces, but he didn't know which ninjas he was colluding with. If you can figure this out, it will become much easier to contact Bai Ye. After waiting patiently for Byakuya to leave, Black Zetsu burrowed into the ground beneath his feet and rushed towards Ninja Eagle's position at extremely fast speeds. Then he broke out of the ground and reached out to catch the Ninja Eagle flying at low altitude. Black Zetsu did not kill the Ninja Eagle immediately, but let White Zetsu control the Ninja Eagle, while he slowly opened Byakuya's letter to Danzo. After Jue glanced at it briefly, he resealed the letter and let Ninja Eagle go. The content of the letter is very simple. It is nothing more than Byakuya informing Danzo that the Hanzo envoy is about to arrive at the Akatsuki organization, but in just a few sentences, there is a huge amount of information. First of all, the ninja that Byakuya colluded with was Konoha's Hokage assistant. Secondly, Byakuya actually leaked what Hanzo's envoy was about to leak. From this aspect, it was considered a betrayal of the Akatsuki organization. More importantly, he had already vaguely guessed the reason why Bai Ye colluded with the Hokage to assist. He wants to overthrow Yahiko and become the true leader of the Akatsuki organization, but just knowing this is not enough for Black Zetsu. His idea is to train Byakuya as a chess piece, rather than watching Byakuya become the leader of the Akatsuki organization. Before that, he must win Bai Ye's trust and do Bai Ye a big favor. Therefore, to a certain extent, this Hokage assistant is actually his competitor, and this competitor must be defeated in order to make Byakuya his pawn. Pulling back his thoughts that were gradually diverging, Jue looked at the Ninja Eagle that had turned into a black dot in the distance, and chased after him. Ninja Eagle, who took the risk to intercept this time, gained quite a lot. At least he knew who the competitor was, and he also had a complete plan in his mind on how to win Bai Ye's trust. Jue felt a lot more comfortable at the thought of being able to increase the probability of his mother's resurrection. Equally comfortable was Bai Ye, who used the mayfly technique to sneak into the ground, because he finally knew who the ninja who had been spying on him recently was. The black pitcher plant monster has only one person in Bai Ye's heart, and that is Jue. Chapter 62 Active Black Jue. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Black Zetsu, the full name is Otsutsuki Black Zetsu. He is the third child of Kagaya Otsutsuki besides Hagoromo and Hamura. His gender is unknown and he is a noble Otsutsuki man. It is said that too many children of the Otsutsuki clan have a tradition of persecuting their parents. However, unlike the two unfilial brothers who teamed up to seal Kagaya, Kuro Zetsu is a truly filial son, dormant in the ninja world for thousands of years and working only for one goal. That is to collect the tailed beasts to resurrect the ten tails and free Kagaya from the seal. In the original plot, Zetsu, who had been working hard for thousands of years, almost realized his wish. Unfortunately, the unfilial son Six Paths Sage was superior. While Black Zetsu was working hard to rescue his mother, Six Paths Sage was already thinking about how to seal Kagaya for the second time. Otherwise, in the Fourth Ninja War, Naruto's process of dealing with Kagaya Otsutsuki would not have been so smooth. After knowing that the person targeting him was Black Zetsu, Bai Ye was still a little confused. Because he remembered that Black Zetsu appeared when Uchiha Madara was extubating himself and committed suicide. Now he showed up in advance. Could it be that Uchiha Madara had committed suicide? If this is really the case, doesn't it mean that little Obito has completed his transformation? However, he was confused. Bai Ye would not completely believe the plot in his memory. After all, the plot in his mind would have changed a lot since he appeared. For example, the Akatsuki organization during this period would not attract the attention of Hanzo and Danzo at all. Danzo did not collude with the members of the Akatsuki organization. He decided to attack the Akatsuki organization after focusing on the Rinnegan Eye, and Nagato has not yet exposed the Rinnegan Eye. But now that Jue has set his sights on him and is so interested in him, should I take advantage of this opportunity and use Zetsu in turn? If Zetsu can be allowed to join the Akatsuki organization, the rewards he will receive will definitely be huge. Although Black Zetsu's record is low and his hard power may not be as good as that of an elite jonin, he is still Kagaya's third child, and he can produce some useful gold coins. It would be great if I could explode chakra fruit, but it's more or less a dream. Time passed quickly, and in a blink of an eye, it was the day when Hanzo's envoy came to visit, in line with the principle of knowing oneself and the enemy and being victorious in any battle. Byakuya also went to see the so-called Hanzo messenger. The other person was a one-eyed middle-aged man who should be a jounin based on his chakra content. However, in his memory, there was only one one-eyed jounin in Amigakure village. That person was also Hanzo's messenger, and brought good news to the Akatsuki organization in the original timeline. To put it simply, Hanzo packaged the country's foreign affairs, outsourced them to the Akatsuki organization, and invited top executives of the Akatsuki organization to meet with envoys from other countries. If Yahiko thought about it carefully at that time, he should have known that this kind of thing was unreliable, but he still agreed to the matter, and the Akatsuki organization ushered in a wave of attrition. However, judging from the final result, Sanshuyu Hanzo is the ultimate loser. Therefore, when accompanying the one-eyed jounin, the corners of Byakuya's mouth twitched slightly, but the other party behaved very politely, and he could not even take the initiative to provoke him. After all, you can't hit someone with a smiling face. The reason why the one-eyed jounin was so respectful was also very simple. Firstly, it was because Sanshuyu Hanzo had given the order in advance, and secondly, it was related to the strength of the Akatsuki organization. After entering the Akatsuki organization base, he silently counted the number of Akatsuki members in his mind. After discovering that there were dozens of ninjas staying in the base, his attitude became much more correct, because a ninja group with a few people and a ninja organization with hundreds of people represented completely different meanings. The ninja group only needs to send out jounin to destroy them. Judging from the current scale of the Akatsuki organization, Yuin village must either dispatch a large number of elite troops or let Lord Hanzo personally go into battle, otherwise it will be impossible to wipe out the Akatsuki organization in one fell swoop. This is the information that the Akatsuki organization only has one or two jounin. If there are more than one jounin, it will be very troublesome for even the great ninja village to deal with the Akatsuki organization. Of course, more importantly, from the moment he entered the base, a cold gaze rested on him. This made him feel a little panicked. If he angered the ninjas in the Akatsuki organization, he didn't know whether the Akatsuki organization would be wiped out by Sancho Hanzo, but he would definitely not survive. Dozens of ninjas each have a kunai, and even a one-eyed jounin will turn into a hedgehog. However, following the leader of the Akatsuki organization, Yahiko led him into the conference room. The cold gaze gradually disappeared, which made the one-eyed jounin breathe a sigh of relief and took out Hanzo's autographed letter. From his body, Yahiko respectfully took Hanzo's handwritten letter, opened it, and began to read it carefully. After learning that Hanzo had the idea of cooperating with the Akatsuki organization, the smile on Yahiko's face became brighter. Sanshuyu Hanzo did not disappoint him. Even if he has been depressed for a long time, he is still a hero of the Kingdom of Rain and knows how to think for the Kingdom of Rain. After collecting the autographed letter, Yahiko looked at the one-eyed jounin, invited the one-eyed jounin to further visit the Akatsuki organization, and began to explain the philosophy of the Akatsuki organization. The one-eyed jounin did not refuse. This was one of his tasks in itself. However, after listening to Yahiko's ideas, the one-eyed jounin frowned. And there was even more doubt in his eyes. Isn't Akatsuki organization's philosophy too outrageous? In the land of rain, a land full of war, famine and disaster, why was such a naive concept born? How could people understand each other? Yahiko also saw the suspicion of the one-eyed jounin, and without any nonsense, he directly took the one-eyed jounin to visit a nearby village, which was the result of the Akatsuki organization's ideas. After arriving at the village and seeing the rosy-faced villagers, the one-eyed jounin dispelled his doubts about the philosophy of the Akatsuki organization. The eyes he looked at Yahiko also showed a little more respect. This is the talent that the Kingdom of Rain lacks. If Hanzo-sama can really cooperate with the Akatsuki organization, the Rain country in a few years will definitely be completely different from now. Therefore, in the following time, the one-eyed jounin began to take the initiative to ask about the specific content of the Akatsuki organization's philosophy. He wanted to tell Master Hanzo all these concepts. Faced with the one-eyed Jounin's inquiry, Yahiko naturally knew everything. If Hanzo's envoy can be persuaded here, the probability of persuading Hanzo will also become much greater. The Akatsuki organization is active in the Land of Rain, and after all, it needs an official identity. Moreover, for the Kingdom of Rain, if the Akatsuki organization and the Hidden Rain village can live in peace, the Kingdom of Rain will be able to reduce some sacrifices and the people's lives will be less torturous. On the other side, Bai Ye took the initiative to find Bai Ye, who was hiding in the forest and resting. After investigating the Hokage assistant and knowing that the Hokage assistant who contacted Byakuya was Danzo, he decided to take the initiative to talk to Byakuya about cooperation. Chapter 63 Black Jue questions Bai Ye. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In order to get closer to Bai Ye, Black Jue thought of many ways, for example, deliberately create a dangerous scene, and then save Bai Ye, thereby creating an authoritative image in front of Bai Ye. But after thinking about it again and again, Zetsu gave up these ideas. He has no ability to put Bai Ye into danger, and the ninja who can put Bai Ye into danger is not something he can deal with. After all, he only inherited his longevity from his mother, not his strength. If he had the power of his two brothers, he would have resurrected the Ten Tails and freed his mother from the seal. However, the mother cannot be blamed for this. Only the two unfilial sons, Hagoromo and Hamura, should be blamed. After dispersing the distracting thoughts in his mind and confirming that there were no other ninjas around, Black Zetsu walked out of the shadows and slowly appeared in front of Byakuya. Bai Ye spotted Bai Ye immediately and asked attentively, "Who are you?" Bai Ye had long sensed Bai Ye's existence, but he was still a little surprised to see Bai Ye show up so easily. He thought Bai Ye would observe him for a while, but he didn't expect it to happen so quickly. Bai Ye, who had entered the performance state, said in a faint tone, "It doesn't matter who I am, what matters is that I know what you want, and your current situation is very dangerous." Bai Ye snorted coldly and said with a vigilant face, "You hide your head and show your tail. Do you really know what I want? But it's useless for you to hide your identity. After I capture you, I will naturally know everything." As soon as he finished speaking, Bai Ye formed a seal with his hands. Dozens of paper shurikens condensed into shape and flew towards Zetsu's position. After hitting Zetsu's body, the paper shurikens turned into detonating talismans and exploded brilliantly. After the smoke and dust cleared, Black Jue appeared in front of Bai Ye unscathed. Seeing this scene, Bai Ye looked a little solemn. After a brief pause, Bai Ye began to use the sealing technique, and golden chains came out of the body and shot towards Zetsu at extremely fast speeds. Just before he was about to capture Bai Ye slowly raised his palm and used the wood release and cutting technique as a cover to dive directly into the ground, only to reappear in front of Bai Ye after a few seconds. After seeing that King Kong's blockade was ineffective, Bai Ye's face became extremely solemn and his eyes were stern as he said, "The first Hokage's would release. Are you a ninja of Konoha?" "No, would escape has been lost in Konoha for a long time." "Which ninja force are you from?" Bai Ye was very satisfied with Bai Ye's expression, but also felt a little scared in his heart. If he couldn't scare Bai Ye, it would be difficult to continue the subsequent negotiations. He walked up to Bai Ye calmly, and Bai Ye said with an inscrutable expression, "Bai Ye, we are not enemies. After venting your anger, can we sit down and have a good talk?" After Bai Ye snorted coldly, he sat on a big rock and asked, "Tell me your reason for coming." "It's impossible for a strong man like you to find me for no reason. I've told you before that I'm here to help you. I don't need your help. I'm living a good life now. I can get everything I want soon, and I rely on my own strength." "Really?" Black Zetsu smiled meaningfully. "Then why are you here now instead of accompanying the Hanzo envoy in the conference room?" Bai Ye glanced at Bai Ye, his eyes full of vigilance. "How do you know about Hanzo's messenger?" After a pause, Bai Ye continued, "So what if you know? I just couldn't stand the atmosphere in the conference room, so I came out for some air. Sooner or later, the Akatsuki organization will treat me as the leader. The reality seems to be different from your imagination." Bai Ye's smile became more and more wanton, and he slowly sat down next to Bai Ye. His voice seemed to contain magic. "If you are really sure to become the leader of the Akatsuki organization, you will not collude with ninjas outside the Akatsuki organization, nor will you secretly cultivate subordinates who are independent of the Akatsuki organization. Everything you have done has exposed your humility. You are not sure about becoming the leader of the Akatsuki organization, let alone realizing your deepest wish. So when it comes to such a big event as meeting Hanzo's envoy, you can only sit here alone. Bai Ye listened very seriously, and he also wanted to know his image in Black Zetsu's eyes. From the above words, we can know that Bai Ye investigated himself in advance and did some serious homework before coming, but, how does Bai Ye know his deepest desires? Even he himself doesn't know this thing. Now he has no other wishes except for the development and growth of the Akatsuki organization. When investigating himself, what did Bai Ye come up with? However, in order to match Zetsu's performance, Bai Ye still showed a guilty conscience. In the middle of Bai Ye's words, Bai Ye stood up hurriedly as if he was stimulated, stared at Bai Ye, and said word by word. How much else do you know about my secrets? Bai Ye said calmly, I don't know all your secrets, but there are far more than you think. Now that I have revealed so many secrets, you should be able to believe that I have no malicious intentions. Otherwise, I don't even need to meet you. With this information, I can make your life worse than death. A trace of panic flashed in Bai Ye's eyes, and then he showed a calm look. I believe in your ability, but I don't need your help. I can complete my dream alone. Really? Bai Ye asked again. It is easy to rebuild the destroyed kingdom of Whirlpool, but the group of ninjas who destroyed the kingdom of Whirlpool are still alive. Once they learn about the reconstruction of the kingdom of Whirlpool, what will they do? How much can the Akatsuki organization help you? Are you really willing to help you? After hearing Bai Ye's repeated questions, Bai Ye fell into a brief silence. Does Black Zetsu think that his ideal is to rebuild the kingdom of Whirlpool? Even Black Zetsu already knew that he had Uzumaki bloodline in his body, however, he really didn't want to rebuild the kingdom of Whirlpool. Did Black Jue misunderstand something? Seeing Bai Ye fall into silence, Bai Ye was very satisfied and directly took out his trump card and said, Byakuya, don't even think about using Konoha's help to rebuild the kingdom of Uzumaki. If they really had this idea, they would not sit back and watch the destruction of the kingdom of Uzumaki. Besides, do you really know who the Hokage assistant you value is? Of course I know. Bai Ye cursed in his heart, and also revealed Bai Ye's identity, but in reality, Bai Ye showed puzzled eyes, eager for the answer. Bai Ye did not hide it and said directly. The Hokage assistant you contacted is Danzo Shimura, a hawk in Konoha. He doesn't care about anything except Konoha's interests. Chapter 64 Recognize Danzo's True Face. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shimura Danzo, who is it? Bai Ye muttered this name, and there was more doubt in his eyes. For most ninjas in the ninja world, the name Shimura Danzo does not hold much value. Even Konoha's own genin have never heard of Danzo's name. The name Danzo really became famous in the ninja world when Danzo ran for the position of the 6th Hokage. Bai Ye seemed to have thought of this, and his face was slightly embarrassed. In fact, he had never heard of Danzo's name before. After a few days of investigation, he could only confirm that Danzo was not a good person and was taking advantage of Byakuya. The logic of using Byakuya is even simpler. Being used by Danzo is worse than being used by yourself. After realizing that the atmosphere was a bit awkward, Bai Ye cleared his throat and explained. Shimura Danzo is a conspirator who has planned assassinations of daimyo and ninja village leaders in various countries, and has always wanted to overthrow Hokage. It is very dangerous to cooperate with him. Hearing this, Bai Ye nodded slightly. Isn't this great? I also want to plan a coup against Yahiko. Danzo often teaches me patiently and is a warm-hearted and good senior. And if I can control the Akatsuki organization, it will be in Konoha's interest. From this point of view, there is no conflict of interest between me and Danzo-senpai. You, on the other hand, appeared in front of me out of nowhere, with a handle in your hand to threaten me. Heize felt that Bai Ye's words made sense. Compared with an old ninja who had many years of assassination experience and held a high position, his image as a little black man obviously aroused suspicion and he could not be completely trusted. but what he said was true. Danzo was really taking advantage of Byakuya, and although he will take advantage of Bai Ye in the future, now he really does it for Bai Ye's good and wants to gain trust by helping Bai Ye. This is obviously a good intention. I'm doing this for your own good. As soon as Jue said these words, he felt that they were not in line with his personality. After a pause, Black Zetsu continued, Byakuya, it seems that if you don't witness Danzo's conspiracy against you with your own eyes, you don't know the cruelty of reality. After saying that, Jue took a step forward, wanting to grab Bai Ye's hand and use the mayfly technique. Bai Ye used the teleportation technique to stay away from Jue, and said with an alert look on his face, what do you want to do? Where are you taking me? Or are you finally revealing your murderous intentions? I just want to lead you to find Danzo and understand Danzo's true face. Black Zetsu's face was expressionless. Why should I trust you? Bai Ye was still alert, but his hesitant eyes had given him away. After a few seconds of silence, Bai Ye took the initiative to use the paper clone technique. While ordering the clone to follow Black Zetsu, he said, then let me see what Danzo's true face is like in your mouth. Seeing Bai Ye agree to his request, Jue finally breathed a sigh of relief and said, you write a letter to Danzo first. Later, we will follow the letter to find Danzo, and then we can show you Danzo's true face. Bai Ye nodded, spent a few minutes writing a letter, and summoned the ninja eagle. After watching the ninja eagle flying over the horizon, Black Zetsu emerged from the ground again and looked at Byakuya helplessly. Now you can come with me to see Danzo. After tossing Jue for a while, Bai Ye let the paper clone follow Jue. Black Jue also talked nonsense and asked Bai Jue to emerge from the ground. After possessing Bai Ye's clone, he sneaked into the ground with the paper clone. On the way to Danzo's hideout, Byakuya once again felt the power of the mayfly technique. Although he also mastered the art of mayfly, he could not keep up with Bai Jue in terms of speed. If the speed of an ordinary jonin running at full strength is that of a train, Bai Zetsu's mayfly technique is almost as fast as a high-speed train. Unless it encounters a hard rock formation, there will be no obstacles. Uchiha Madara and later Obito also collected information from all over the ninja world through hundreds of white Zetsu and mayfly techniques. Otherwise, the ninja world is so big, and just relying on a few rebel ninjas in the Akatsuki organization would not be able to collect intelligence on the Jinchuriki, let alone arrest the Jinchuriki. It took half an hour for Ninja Eagle to reach the base. Bai Ye and Jue also came to this stronghold. When he saw that the stronghold was set up in the Kingdom of Rain, Bai Ye frowned and said, I didn't expect that the Hokage assistant would set up the stronghold here, since he didn't notify me in advance. Jue smiled in his heart when he heard this. I don't know whether he was laughing at Byakuya's innocence, or lamenting Danzo's stupidity. After getting the information scroll from the ninja hawk, the root ninja quickly sent the scroll to the secret room deep in the stronghold, while Byakuya and Black Zetsu followed. After Danzo learned that Byakuya had sent the information scroll, he touched his chin and smiled, then sent someone to call Aburame Ryoma over and asked Ryoma to read the letter with him. Soon, Danzo and Ryoma Aburame were looking through Byakuya's letters together and began to analyze them. Due to the small space in the secret room, both Bai Ye and Zetsu could hear the discussion between the two. When he heard Danzo and Aburame Ryoma analyzing the letter carefully and thinking about how to reply, Byakuya looked at Black Zetsu aside and said, Danzo-senpai didn't mean to harm me. You just thought too much. Jue felt no fluctuation in his heart and said to Bai Ye, you will know if you keep reading, they haven't exposed the foxtail yet. Byakuya said no more and began to watch the interaction between Danzo and Aburame Ryoma. In the past, he was broadcast live, but now he can finally watch other people's reality show performances. From the beginning, it was still a secret interaction between the leader and the top management of the root organization. Ryoma, take a good look, Byakuya is so sensible. If he is not a ninja of the Akatsuki organization, I have already considered taking him under my command and becoming a root elite. However, the next moment, Bai Ye began to doubt life. It is a good thing that Danzo is satisfied with his letter, which means that he has gained Danzo's favor and will receive more assistance in the future. But what about praise? His approach was actually recognized by Danzo. This made Bai Ye become a little scared. However, Byakuya soon realized that Danzo had fallen into his trap and actually began to seriously think about the direction of the Akatsuki organization's coup and prepare to seize the position of Hokage in the future. But people are different, and he has great hope of becoming the leader of the Akatsuki organization. Danzo is different. Judging from Danzo's behavior and character, the probability of becoming Hokage is infinitely close to zero. Unless the current Hokage dies suddenly and Namake's Minato and the Sannin die, Danzo will not get his turn. By the end, Danzo and Aburame Ryoma were discussing how to deal with Byakuya. Lord Danzo, what should we do next? Let Byakuya assassinate Hanzo's envoy, but in this case, he will be exposed. Isn't it our plan to stir up conflicts between the Akatsuki organization and Yuin village? After hearing this, Jue also said in a faint tone. Byakuya, do you know Danzo's purpose now? He is using you. When you lose your use value, he will give up on you without hesitation. Chapter 65 Black Zetsu's Dream. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After hearing that Danzo and Aburame Ryoma asked him to assassinate the Hanzo messenger first, Byakuya felt like he was struck by lightning. He took 2 steps back before barely recovering. Byakuya couldn't believe that the Konoha senior he trusted so much would actually take advantage of him. In other words, he was prepared to be used, but he didn't expect Danzo to go so far. What's the difference between letting him assassinate Hanzo's envoy and letting him annihilate himself from the Rain Country? Could it be said that there are no trustworthy ninjas in the ninja world? After thinking about the above thoughts, Bai Ye's face was filled with expressions of disbelief, betrayal, and unforgivability. It finally turned into a rich sigh and he began his performance. I don't believe this is true. You must have done this deliberately to show me. Black Zetsu glanced at Byakuya and mocked, with your strength, you should know that this is not an illusion. I don't have the ability to control the Konoha ninja to perform this show. Hearing this, Byakuya's expression dimmed and he whispered, I know this is true. I have fought with Aburame Ryoma over there, and I also know that they have been using me. It's just that I thought our cooperation would last longer, but I didn't expect that they would put me to death. Wouldn't they get more benefits by sending me to the position of leader? Black Zetsu said calmly, you are too naive. You are naive enough to believe that Danzo will help you. Danzo will not trust anyone, and everyone is his pawn. Bai Ye was silent. After listening to the conversation between Danzo and Aburame Ryoma, Bai Zetsu was brought back to the Akatsuki organization base. It all seemed like a dream. The paper clone was released and the memory of the paper clone was harvested. Compared with the clone, Byakuya's attitude was much tougher. He said coldly, I already know about Danzo-senpai. He is using me and wants to send me to death to provoke the Akatsuki organization in you. The contradiction of the hidden village. What about you? I don't know your identity yet, but you couldn't wait to come out in front of me. Not only did you speak ill of Danzo in front of me, but you also exposed Danzo's conspiracy. What is your purpose? Facing Bai Ye's question, Jue replied expressionlessly. I'm here to cooperate with you. Unlike Danzo, you are not qualified to be used by me at this stage. When you become the leader of the Akatsuki organization and have the same strength as the 5 shadows, I will let you serve. With the same strength as the 5 shadows, it sounds like your plan is quite high-end. After a pause, Bai Ye continued, but I have just experienced a betrayal. If you don't explain the content of the cooperation to me clearly, our cooperation will stop here. After saying that, Bai Ye looked at Jue with some expectancy to see if Jue would reveal the Eye of the Moon plan. Black Zetsu is also thinking about whether to reveal the Eye of the Moon plan, but after thinking for a moment, Zetsu gave up the idea of telling the Eye of the Moon plan. After all, there were not many ninjas in the ninja world who could accept the Eye of the Moon plan. Ninjas like Byakuya who are still passionate about the ninja world and hope to climb up have another way of saying things, which is even more attractive. My goal is to rule the world. This world has been divided for too long and needs to be integrated. After hearing what Jue said, Bai Ye was stunned. Aren't you going to execute the Eye of the Moon plan to collect chakra and finally release Kagaya Akatsuki? Why did he suddenly become the one who rules the world? After seeing Byakuya stunned, Black Zetsu continued, "In the world I rule, there are no wars or disputes. Even Uzumaki ninjas have a place." Black Zetsu was interrupted by Bai Ye just in the middle of what he said. "I'm different from people like Yahiko. I have no interest in peace and mutual trust. I just want to rebuild the country of Uzumaki and let the name of the Uzumaki clan resound in the ninja world. Don't talk about peace in front of me. These are just excuses to fool people." Now, it was Heiju's turn to be confused. Don't all ninjas in the ninja world long for world peace? How could there be an alien like Bai Ye who doesn't even agree with the noble idea of saving mankind? But if you think about it carefully, Byakuya is able to cooperate with Danzo. It can only be said that his moral level needs to be improved. However, this also shows that Bai Ye does have the ambition to rebuild the kingdom of Whirlpool. As long as he has ambition in his heart, he can use Bai Ye through his ambition to become one of the executors of the Eye of the Moon. Thinking of this, Black Zetsu's eyes fell on Bai Ye, and he slowly stretched out his hand. "I guarantee that as long as the cooperation between us continues, the name of the Uzumaki clan will definitely resound in the ninja world." Bai Ye struggled for a long time, and finally stretched out his hand, and the two sides touched. After completing the simple alliance ceremony, Bai Ye immediately started asking, "My lord, what is your name? Where is our plan? What should we do next? Besides me, there are other people, our source of funds. What about member benefits?" Facing a lot of questions raised by Bai Ye, Heiju's brain suddenly shut down. Over the past 1,000 years, he has also recruited many reincarnations of Indra, but the reincarnations of Indra have never asked him about these things. As for funds and member benefits, he can't provide them at all. Seeing that Heiju couldn't answer his question, Bai Ye frowned. "Isn't there just the two of us in our organization? Two people want to rule the world. Is it your problem or mine?" Heiju was silent for a long time, and after his brain was working rapidly, he answered. "My name is Heiju. In addition to the two of us, our organization has two other members, but their existence is still kept secret. For, this is no different from two members." Bai Ye showed doubts in his eyes, and then said, "Master Black Zetsu, if there are only 4 members, please forgive me for withdrawing from this organization. Dominating the world is a difficult and long-term plan. We need to build a large enough country with hundreds of millions of people and hundreds of thousands of troops to realize our desire to rule the world. In order to achieve this, we must make step-by-step preparations for at least several decades. First master the Akatsuki organization and control the Rain country, then encroach on Konoha and the surrounding ninja villages, and finally the 5 major powers of the art of war will rule the world." Bai Ye's vowed speech made Heiju deafen and fell into deep thought. With all the plans and preparations Bai Ye mentioned, he never seemed to have thought that for thousands of years, his greatest effort to resurrect his mother was to bewitch Madara Uchiha, let Uchiha Madara execute the Eye of the Moon plan on his behalf, and eventually resurrect his mother. If he had really made a plan with Bai Ye and strictly followed the steps, his mother might have escaped from the seal long ago. It was his stupidity and incompetence that delayed his mother's resurrection. Chapter 66, Turning Against Guests. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The more he thought about it, the more Heizei felt that Bai Ye's plan was very reliable. He has always relied on the conflict between Indra and Asura to trick Indra into executing the Eye of the Moon plan, but for various reasons, every time he tried to seduce Indra's reincarnation, he failed. The reincarnation of Indra was either defeated by the reincarnation of Asura and his companions, or directly crushed the reincarnation of Indra with undisputed strength. Every time Indra reincarnated, he would lose to the reincarnation of Asura. Since bewitching Indra's reincarnation is destined to fail, is there a possibility that he can use the reincarnation of Asura instead of just being limited to the reincarnation of Indra? Anyway, the reincarnation of Asura will definitely win. However, now that Indra's reincarnation, Madara Uchiha, is still alive, it is impossible for the two of them to reincarnate. In the short term, Heiju will not be able to seduce Asura's descendants. It is better to continue to use Bai Ye during this period, using Bai Ye's method similar to Asura's, and spend decades trying it. In this way, there are 2 plans for resurrecting the Ten Tails to save his mother. regardless of whether the Eye of the Moon plan or the world domination plan succeeds, Mother can be resurrected. Thinking of this, Jue looked at Bai Ye with more pleasing eyes. Of course I have a plan to rule the world, but you don't need to know it yet. When you become the leader of the Akatsuki organization, I will naturally tell you the next plan. As for benefits. Jue thought for a moment, and then said, you have one of my ANBU people. He is my split body, and he also has the ability to use would escape. You can just call him Afu. Is this the only benefit? Bai Ye showed disappointment and was very dissatisfied. Bai Jue Afu himself is his subordinate. Now he has only handed over control, or it is temporary control. What is the difference between this and before? There is nothing else on me. Jue was silent for a moment, and then said. With your current contribution, you can only get so many benefits. When you become the leader of the Akatsuki organization, I will reward you with more benefits. Faced with Jue's behavior, Bai Ye sneered inwardly. It's not that he doesn't believe in Jue, it's just that this is how he draws the pie to his subordinates. There must be a big pie, but how to divide it and whether to give it to you is another matter. At this time, Bai Ye seemed to remember something and said, by the way, Lord Black Jue, how should we contact you in the future? Just tell Afu. If anything happens, I will come to you personally. What if someone else discovers it? Yahiko and the others will be suspicious. Our plan will be exposed. Bai Ye showed a worried expression. It seems that he is really worried that if the matter is exposed, it will affect his ability to become the leader of the Akatsuki organization. Jue waved his hand and said with some arrogance, then tell me what to do. How to say it so that you will not be suspected by Yahiko. Bai Ye nodded, thought for a moment and then said. Why don't you, Lord Black Zetsu, join my ANBU? After registering, you will also be a member of the Akatsuki organization. It is very normal for members of the Akatsuki organization to meet. Whatever you want, don't forget the plan between us. As for whether to join the Akatsuki organization, Zetsu's attitude is naturally indifferent. His joining the Akatsuki organization does not mean that he is a member of the Akatsuki organization. For thousands of years, in order to bewitch Indra's reincarnation, he joined countless organizations. When Black Zetsu was about to leave, Byakuya continued to ask, Master Black Zetsu, Danzo-senpai betrayed me, how should I reply appropriately? Should I use him in turn, or should I wait until the opportunity to eliminate him? Jue's blood pressure rose a little after hearing Bai Ye's questioning. He really didn't know how to answer Bai Ye. If he answered wrongly, wouldn't it reveal the fact that he was a noob? In that case, he would have no authority at all. Thinking of this, Jue dived directly into the ground and used the art of mayfly to escape far away. Shortly after Jue left, a mysterious smile appeared on Bai Ye's face because he heard a familiar electronic sound, which was a reward from the system. Black Zetsu joined the Akatsuki organization and was rewarded with the art of disguise, the art of spores, the basics of wood escape, and the basics of yin and yang escape. Looking at the dazzling array of rewards on the system panel, Bai Ye's lips curled up in a subtle arc. The system rewards are so rich, and the scene he performed with Jue is not in vain. Is Danzo using him to stir up conflicts between Amigakure village and the Akatsuki organization? Is Black Zetsu the next Danzo? Is his plan to rule the world a lie? None of this is important to Bai Ye. As long as Black Zetsu is willing to join the Akatsuki organization, it is enough. After putting away his arrogant smile, Bai Ye began to take stock of the benefits gained this time. The art of disguise is Bai Zetsu's ability to imitate other people's images and even chakra fluctuations. Even the Mangekyo Sharingan and Byakugan are difficult to see through. It is an extremely powerful transformation art. The spore technique is also Bai Zetsu's ability and can possess clones on them. As for the basics of wood release and yin-yang release, it means literally, he got the basic versions of wood release and yin-yang release. Among them, the wood escape comes from Bai Jue, and the yin-yang escape comes from Black Jue. After confirming to receive the reward, Bai Ye immediately felt the transformation of his body by Mu done and yin-yang done. His physical fitness was stronger than before. As for how powerful these rewards are, you still need to find a place where no one is around to try them. After leaving the Akatsuki organization base, Black Zetsu returned to the underground space where Madara was, hiding in the torso of the outside demon. Black Zetsu did not intervene in the interaction between Uchiha Madara and Obito this time, but watched them quietly. After recruiting Bai Ye as a chess piece and having new ideas, Uchiha Madara is no longer the only chess piece he can use. And Madara's attitude towards him also makes him quite unhappy. He is not Madara's will, but the son of the noble Akatsuki. However, he didn't show his unhappiness, he just felt a little emotional. Madara also noticed Black Zetsu at this time, and after pushing Obito away, he came over and asked, "How is the situation with Nagato and the Akatsuki organization?" Black Zetsu said calmly, "It's the same as before, but Nagato and others seem to be targeted by the ninja demigods." "The demigod of the ninja world, are you talking about that boy Sancho Hanzo? He is not Nagato's opponent and does not need too much attention." During these years of lurking underground, Madara had also heard of the name Sanshouyu Hanzo. However, in Uchiha Madara's view, the name of demigod is just a false name, and Hanzo cannot be compared with Hashirama at all. "Yes, Madara-sama." Black Zetsu nodded. At this time, Uchiha Madara seemed to remember something and asked, "By the way, how is the situation over there in Kirigakure village?" "Obito has been trained for almost the entire time, and it's time for him to transform. The Hidden Mist village is ready and you can start your plan at any time." "That's good. I'm also looking forward to what kind of Sharingan Obito can awaken. Let's see if he is qualified to inherit my name." Chapter 67 Bai Ye's Panel Strength. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After finding an empty space with no one around, Bai Ye set up a barrier to isolate his perception. After confirming that there were no Baizetsu around, he started practicing the system rewards that had just arrived. By imitating Yahiko's chakra fluctuations, Byakuya used the art of disguise, and Byakuya gradually turned into Yahiko's appearance. Not only was the height and appearance exactly the same, but even the chakra fluctuations were exactly the same. Bai Ye suspected that even if Xiaonan stood in front of him, he wouldn't be able to tell that he was in disguise. This was the charm of Baizetsu's version of the transformation technique. As for Nagato, forget it, the reincarnation eye is too strong and it really can't be compared. After changing back to his own appearance, Bai Ye began to practice the spore technique. After forming seals with his hands, the paper clone was compressed to the size of a mung bean and was hidden directly in the surrounding woods by Bai Ye, making it highly concealable. Bai Ye tried to sense it himself and nodded with satisfaction. If one does not have super perceptive abilities or the eye technique, the shadow clone hidden through the spore technique will be difficult to detect. It is extremely effective when paired with the disguise technique and the mayfly technique, coupled with Bai Jue's inherent would escape ability. Bai Ye wondered if Bai Jue's assessment of his strength in his previous life was too low. The super transformation technique plus the mayfly technique, plus the would escape blood succession, all have the strength of a jounin, at least much stronger than a certain elite jounin who only knows how to use green. But then I thought about it, not all Bai Jue have this kind of strength. Among all the white Jue, perhaps only a Fei has this kind of strength, and the other Bai Jue are just stupid waste. Otherwise, the 100,000 white Zetsu army would have bulldozed the 5 major ninja villages countless times. Suppressing the desire to complain in his heart, Bai Ye began to practice his third new ability, Mu Dun, which was said to be able to calm troubled times. Speaking of wood release, Byakuya instantly thought of ninjutsu such as transforming Buddha on the top, coming to the flower and tree realm, wood dragon and wooden man. This type of ninjutsu has a distinctive feature, that is, it is extremely powerful and does not require any seals. You only need to put your hands together to perform the ninjutsu. Bai Ye also tried it again, shouting several times into the air in front of him. Wood release, the technique of transforming into a Buddha from the top. Wood release, the flower and tree realm is coming. Wood release, wood dragon technique. Hearing the echo in the air, Bai Ye's face looked a little embarrassed, and then he began to implement several simple would escape ninjutsu that appeared in Jean's mind, such as the art of 4 pillars, the art of cutting, etc. The execution of these ninjutsu was quite successful. Byakuya successfully created a small wooden house with 3 bedrooms and 1 living room in the open space, as well as the tree world descending technique within the basketball court. The cutting technique also accurately hit the prey trying to escape in the forest. after cleaning up the traces made by Mudun, Bai Ye made a fire to cook, feeling emotional at the same time. The foundation of wood release is indeed the foundation of wood release. Except for a few basic wood release ninjutsu, he cannot use advanced wood release ninjutsu at all. Of course, this is also related to the reason why he has not mastered the magic of immortality. After all, it is not Mudun who is powerful, but Senju Hashirama himself. It is the reincarnation of Asura and the celestial skills that have been cultivated to the peak that create the name of the god of the ninja world. With that kind of panel and quality, you can still burn mountains and boil seas using fire release. After the rewards for the basic wood escape were not satisfactory, Bai Ye didn't have much hope for the basic yin and yang escape. Just as he expected, the yin-yang escape foundation he obtained was only enough for him to make a black rod. The black stick is very easy to use. Even in the finale, it is an ability that can be used, but it is as obscure as the wood escape. Although Nagato can also make black rods, he can't use them more often than Nagato. The captured prey is skinned, bled, and sprinkled with barbecue ingredients. When the food was cooked, Bai Ye opened the system panel for the first time in a long time to see how much his strength had improved. Name, Bai Ye. Age, 13 years old. Current bound organization, Akatsuki organization. Chakra. Attributes, water, earth, wind, yang, yin. Ninjutsu, 3-body technique, basic kunai throwing technique, wind release ninjutsu, water release ninjutsu, paper release technique, disguise technique, sport technique, and mayfly technique. Limitations of blood succession, basics of wood escape, basics of yin-yang escape. Bloodline, whirlpool bloodline. Personal evaluation. When I first entered the shadow level, I could easily crush most ninjas, but in front of a truly strong person, even the chance of escaping was very slim. Glancing at the system panel, Bai Ye's eyes fell on the personal evaluation. From being an ordinary chunin before acquiring the system, to now entering the Kage level for the first time, in less than a year, he has already reached the threshold of the Kage level. But, do I really have the strength to enter the film level for the first time? Bai Ye was very doubtful. All he had were life-saving abilities and he had no means of attack. How could he still be evaluated as a shadow-level powerhouse? When did the Kage-level warriors in the ninja world become so cheap? He should at least be able to withstand Hashirama and Uchiha Madara for a few rounds before he can become a Kage-level powerhouse. However, the last few comments of the system were very pertinent. In front of a truly strong person, he even had a slim chance of escaping. This is the cruel ninja world. You can't relax for a moment, you have to be careful. After all, as his strength increased, he came into contact with more and more powerful people, such as the Dark Danzo of the shinobi world, the elderly Madara Uchiha, and the recently departed Akatsuki Kurizetsu. After eating one skewer of grilled meat until it was all shiny with oil, there was still a lot left. In line with the principle of not wasting anything, Bai Ye packed up the remaining barbecue and walked towards the Akatsuki organization base. Just after returning to the base, Bai Ye met Huali. Huali glanced up and down at Bai Ye, and said anxiously, "Sir Bai Ye, where have you gone? The envoys sent by Hanzo have already left. I am going to eat." Bai Ye took out the barbecue and gave it to Huali while saying, "This barbecue tastes very good. You can give it a try, but don't eat too much. I have to give it to Yahiko and the others." Huali took the barbecue and asked immediately, "Sir Byakuya, don't you care about the envoy's visit? That is Hanzo's envoy. Hanzo is a legendary figure, and his strength even exceeds that of the 5 shadows. His strength exceeds that of Wu Ying. This is purely because Wu Ying gave him face." After complaining in his heart, Bai Ye said to Carrie, "Whether Hanzo's messenger is here or not, what does it have to do with us? That Sanjiu fish who lives in his lair all day long is no longer a demigod in the ninja world." After a pause, Bai Ye seemed to have thought of something, and added, "However, if Sanjiu is willing to cooperate sincerely, the Shao organization will not be unable to accept it." After hearing Bai Ye's words, Huali's face froze slightly. When did Lord Byakuya become so arrogant? Even demigod Hanzo didn't take him seriously. However, judging from Lord Byakuya's age and strength, he does have the ability to be proud. Chapter 68 Danzo is a good man. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In front of Huali, Byakuya looked disdainful of Sanshoya Hanzo and Amigakure. After arriving at the Akatsuki Organization's office, Byakuya immediately put on an expression of concern for the country and the people, and looked at Yahiko, Konan and Nagato with a solemn expression. Leader Yahiko, seniors Konan and Nagato, and the Hanzo messenger are gone. That when Bai Ye called his leader, Yahiko suddenly felt bad, but he still nodded. I just left not long ago. It's a pity that you left early. Otherwise, I would have wanted you to meet. After all, you are now considered a senior member of the organization. It's better to forget about meeting. It's easy for ninjas to leak information when meeting each other. Bai Ye shook his head, and then said seriously. However, after meeting the Hanzo envoy, you guys should know the ambitions of Yuin village. Do they want to directly annex the Akatsuki organization, or order us to disband directly? Is there also a deadline set? If no decision is made within a month, troops will be directly sent to deal with the organization by force and eliminate a major scourge for the Kingdom of Rain. Upon hearing these words, the corners of Nagato's mouth twitched repeatedly and he couldn't help but say. Byakuya, when did we become the scourge of the Rain country? Didn't you say before that our Akatsuki organization is the future of the Rain country? Isn't this from the perspective of Yuin village? Bai Ye paused for a moment and then said. From the perspective of Yuin village, what we have done these days is to dig into the walls of Yuin village. If we don't stop us, the Kingdom of Rain will be ours. You are right. Yahiko nodded, showing a helpless expression. But Hanzo's envoy came here this time. He really didn't have any hostility. He came to express condolences to the Akatsuki organization on behalf of Hanzo-sama. By the way, he wanted to cooperate with the Akatsuki organization and incorporate the Akatsuki organization into the system of Yuin village. I don't think it's a bad thing. Hanzo-sama needs us, and we also need an identity that can be put on the stage. The messenger must even faintly reveal that Hanzo-sama wants to cultivate our ideas. At this point, Yahiko, Nagato, and Konan all looked at Byakuya. They have never been able to understand why Bai Ye is so hostile to Yuin village. Obviously, so far, Yuin village has never shown any hostility towards them. The Akatsuki organization is also an organization born in the land of rain and has no hostility towards the hidden rain village, of course because I know the plot. At the same time, he knew that the rise of the Akatsuki organization would definitely offend the interests of the Amigakure village. An organization that helped each other and had a huge reputation among the people would inevitably arouse the vigilance of the nobles and ninja village. Bai Ye tried to explain, but he quickly gave up the idea of explaining. No amount of explanations and warnings are as profound as a lesson. The Akatsuki organization has grown enough to shake the Yuin village, and it is time to face a test of blood and fire. Thinking of this, Bai Ye took a deep breath and said to Yahiko. Leader Yahiko, maybe I really overthink it. Maybe the Akatsuki organization and Amigakure village were not enemies from the beginning. It was me who hindered the communication between the two parties. I will find ways to promote peace between Akatsuki and Yuin village. This is the future that Akatsuki needs. After saying that, Bai Ye turned around and left the office, leaving only a disappointed figure behind. Looking at Byakuya's disappointed back, Konan and Nagato couldn't help but said, Yahiko, have we gone too far? Byakuya has never been so disappointed. Maybe we should be more careful. We have no defense against Hanzo's envoy this time. Yahiko sighed softly, then spread his hands and said, maybe, but we can't give up communication with Amigakure village just because Amigakure village may be hostile. I believe Hanzo-sama has good intentions towards the Akatsuki organization. Otherwise, he would have taken action when we were weak. Why wait until now? At this point, Yahiko's eyes became more determined, as if being infected by Yahiko, Nagato, and Konan also became determined. Yes, you can't give up communicating with the Ume Hidden Village just because you are worried that the Ume Hidden Village may take action against the Akatsuki organization. If the Akatsuki organization wants to continue to develop, the Ume Hidden Village and Sanshoya Hanzo are insurmountable mountains. If you want to cross this mountain, apart from launching a war, the only way is peaceful communication. The other side, Byakuya returned to the room and began to think about how to organize a test for Yahiko and Akatsuki. First of all, this test cannot be too difficult and cannot exceed the range that the Akatsuki organization can handle. Otherwise, if something happens to the Akatsuki organization, it will be easy to escape by yourself, but it will be difficult to explode a large number of gold coins. Secondly, this test cannot be too simple. If Yahiko solves the problem easily, Yahiko will become completely distracted and start fantasizing about sitting down and talking with everyone. It's not impossible to talk, but the main reason is that the Akatsuki organization doesn't have the strength to overturn the table yet. When Senju Hashirama was negotiating with the other 4 Kages, what was the background? At that time, Konoha had the power to crush the other 4 major ninja villages. Even if they don't use Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, Tobirama alone is enough to give them a headache. After thinking hard for several hours alone, Bai Ye still didn't have any good solution. The idea that flashed in his mind was too extreme. The current Akatsuki organization simply couldn't bear it, and even he himself might encounter huge risks. For example, Nagato's Rinnegan Eye was exposed, and then spread the rumor that the Rinnegan Eye conquered the world. The 5 major ninja villages will definitely focus their attention on the Akatsuki organization. By then, the Akatsuki organization will be facing a crisis, but it may not only be the Akatsuki organization, but even the Amigakure village will be directly torn apart. After rubbing his acupuncture points to wake himself up a lot, Bai Ye decided to work together. It was impossible to invite Huali and her gang of spies to discuss it, but it was possible to invite Black Zetsu and White Zetsu to discuss it. It is impossible for these 2 people to leak information, and their tone of voice is very strict. And just when Bai Ye was about to go to Bai Jue Afu and ask him to inform Black Zetsu, everyone would discuss how to design a test for the Akatsuki organization. Byakuya received a message from Danzo. Not long after, Bai Ye came to a familiar cliff and saw the familiar ninja eagle. After opening the familiar letter, he saw Danzo's familiar handwriting. After reading the content, a smile gradually appeared on Byakuya's face. Danzo-senpai is indeed a good senior. When he was worrying about how to create a test for the Akatsuki organization, Danzo took the initiative to come over. On the surface, he was asking for information about Yuin village, but in fact, he definitely wanted to create a test for the Akatsuki organization and give the Akatsuki organization a chance to achieve nirvana. In the original plot, Danzo is such a good guy, even at the cost of nearly destroying the root organization. Pain, who symbolizes pain, was born, allowing the Akatsuki organization to complete a gorgeous transformation and move closer to the big boss of the ninja world. Thinking of this, Bai Ye sighed softly. When I have the opportunity to meet Danzo-senpai in the future, I must say thank you to him in person. Thank Danzo for his great virtue, and give him a decent ending. Chapter 69 Death of the Messenger. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Under the farewell of the Akatsuki members, the one-eyed Jonin who was the messenger of Amigakure village left the Akatsuki organization base. After walking along the road for several kilometers and confirming that there were no Akatsuki ninjas behind him, the smile on the one-eyed Jonin's face gradually disappeared, replaced by concern for the future of Amigakure village. As Hanzo-sama's envoy, he fulfilled his responsibilities very well. Not only did he send a personal letter from Lord Hanzo to the Akatsuki organization, but he also completed an investigation into the top management of the Akatsuki organization and the base. The results of the investigation were almost identical to the information received by Hanzo-sama. Except for a few members, the rest of the Akatsuki organization members believe in Yahiko's philosophy of peace and believe that by understanding each other, a world without war can be created. The one-eyed Jounin was not very interested in this set of ideas, but if under the leadership of Yahiko, the Akatsuki organization can really strictly implement this set of concepts, then the time for peace to come will not be too far away. However, during this investigation of the Akatsuki organization, it was this set of ideas that worried the one-eyed Jounin the most. In his opinion, the Hawk Byakuya and the dozens or hundreds of ninjas in the Akatsuki organization are not as scary as Yahiko's philosophy. The reason is also very simple: the members of the Akatsuki organization combined are no match for Hanzo-sama. But once word spreads about Yahiko's ideas and the deeds of the Akatsuki organization, it will inevitably resonate with the people of the Land of Rain. Even the ninjas in Amigakure village will be shaken and join the Akatsuki organization one after another to realize their long-cherished wish for peace. Faced with this, Lord Hanzo was also aware of it. however, Hanzo-sama chose to conquer the Akatsuki organization and wanted to use the strategy of solicitation to bring the Akatsuki organization into the system of Amigakure village, but this approach is not without its pitfalls, judging from the current infection ability of the Akatsuki organization. If the Akatsuki organization is really allowed to join Yuin village will become a subordinate organization of the Akatsuki organization in less than 3 years. By then, there will be peace in the Kingdom of Rain. But what about these old people who follow Hanzo-sama? In the more than 10 years since they followed Lord Hanzo, they have devoted their youth to the Land of Rain, but they only received the position of Jonin and some of the properties in the Land of Rain. It is absolutely impossible for him to watch the Akatsuki organization rise to the top and seize their interests. Thinking of this, the one-eyed Jonin turned around and looked in the direction of the Akatsuki organization's base, his eyes full of evil, as if looking at a dead person. After he returns, he will immediately inform Lord Hanzo of the Akatsuki organization's wolf ambitions, and join forces with other Jonin to propose a proposal to destroy the Akatsuki organization. As long as Lord Hanzo is willing to attack the Akatsuki organization, everything in Amigakure village will be fine. When the one-eyed Jounin secretly stared at the Akatsuki organization base, Aburame Ryoma was also leading the route team to follow the one-eyed Jounin. He received an order from Danzo to kill the one-eyed Jonin on the eve of his return to the Hidden Rain village. Moreover, he was killed by a detonating talisman, and was blamed on Bai Ye of the Akatsuki organization. Aburame Ryoma had long been used to similar scapegoating missions, but he still had lingering fears about the assassination of the demigod's men on Sanshoyu Hanzo's territory. If Sancho Hanzo discovers their plot, wouldn't Danzo-sama make another enemy for Konoha? After a few words of slander, Aburame Ryoma still carried out the task honestly. However, when she saw the one-eyed Jounin looking at the Akatsuki organization base with a sinister look, Aburame Ryoma looked suspiciously. Could it be that this messenger sent by the demigod also harbors ill intentions towards the Akatsuki organization? If he takes the opportunity to invite the other party to cooperate, will the probability of achieving cooperation be very high? In this case, it can be considered as one of my achievements. Soon, Aburame Ryoma gave up this ridiculous idea. It would be better for him not to make his own decisions when it comes to Danzo-sama's plan. Apart from Orochimaru, no one dares to give Danzo-sama's opinion at all, even as his right-hand man. After tracking for most of the day, the route team arrived at the last small town outside Yuin village. Not long after leaving the town, the one-eyed Jonin slowly stopped, drew out the short sword from his waist, stared at the forest behind him, and shouted sharply. "You guys have been following me for so long, it's time to show up. If you don't take action, you will have to face Master Hanzo when you return to the village. He will make your death very painful." Before he finished speaking, the one-eyed Jonin took the lead. After quickly forming seals with his hands, various water escape ninjutsu poured out. In the rainy environment of the Rain Country, the power increased a lot. However, the one-eyed Jounin's goal is not to repel the route team, but to delay it for enough time. As early as a few hours ago, he had noticed that there were ninjas following him. He was not sure enough, so he had been stalling for time until he was close enough to the village before he launched a counterattack. He may not be his opponent alone, but as long as Master Hanzo can focus his attention here, facing the one-eyed Jounin's water attack, Aburame Ryoma's expression changed again and again. With his strength, it would not be difficult to defeat the one-eyed Jounin one-on-one, but in this operation, he could not expose the identity of Konoha ninja and could only use basic ninjutsu and taijutsu. In this self-restricted situation, he and his subordinates could not help the one-eyed Jounin if they joined forces. If they were really seen by the Rain Ninja patrolling nearby, they would have no choice but to retreat. At this moment, a strong wind blew up in the distance. The strong wind directly stirred up the water on the ground, breaking the one-eyed Jounin's water escape defense. Then a young man walked out of the forest, quickly approached the one-eyed Jounin, and affixed more than a dozen detonating charms. Amidst the explosion of the detonating talisman, the one-eyed Jounin was lying on the ground covered in blood. Aburame Ryoma stared at the boy in front of her and said hesitantly, "Are you Byakuya?" The young man shook his head, then released the transformation technique, and then said, "It's me. You guys are a bunch of losers. If I don't take action, your plan will fail. Danzo-sama, my subordinate is not doing his job well and I beg you to be punished." After seeing that it was Danzo, Aburame Ryoma breathed a sigh of relief. He didn't want to meet Byakuya again. The previous fight with Byakuya had already formed a lingering nightmare in his heart. If he really saw Bai Ye again, he might not even have the courage to take action. Danzo snorted coldly, decided to turn the big deal into a trivial one, and said, "I will hold you accountable after this operation is over. Now let's dispose of the body first, and then wait with me to wait for the kingdom of rain to fall into chaos." Hearing this, Aburame Ryoma knew that Danzo would not punish him, so she nodded quickly and said, "Yes, Danzo-sama." Chapter 70, Accountability from Hanzo. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A few minutes later, the patrolling rain ninja found the one-eyed jonin lying in a pool of blood. After confirming the identity of the one-eyed jonin, the patrolling rain ninja looked at each other, and while protecting the scene, they sent people back to the hidden rain village to report the information to the top leaders. Not long after, Hanzo, who got the news, appeared at the scene in the heavy rain. With the arrival of Hanzo, the atmosphere at the scene became tense, and all the ninjas of the hidden rain village became uneasy. They were worried that Hanzo would lose control of his emotions and vent his anger after seeing the body of the one-eyed jonin. To everyone's surprise, Hanzo was unusually calm. After listening to the reports of the witnesses and the on-site survey, he calmly said, "The body will be handled by the medical team. I need a more accurate death report." Facing Hanzo's wisdom and calmness, the rain ninjas present couldn't help but sigh in their hearts. He is worthy of being Hanzo. Even if his respected subordinates were killed, he can still think calmly. After returning to the hidden rain village, Hanzo locked himself in the office with a gloomy face. He could not imagine, nor did he want to believe, that someone dared to attack the envoy he sent in the territory of the rain country, and it was a few kilometers away from the hidden rain village. For him, this was not just a matter of losing a jonin. It was also a matter of ignoring his demigod majesty and ruthlessly trampling on his face. If he knew who attacked his envoy, he would definitely make the other party pay a painful price. Knowing that his title of demigod was not blown, but fought, as if he wanted to vent his anger, Hanzo turned into a master of desktop cleaning and began to sweep. Hearing the sound of smashing in the office, the hidden rain village jonins gathered at the door looked at each other. They did not dare to open the door at this time. Not everyone could bear the anger of Hanzo. A few minutes later, Hanzo's voice rang out from the office, "Don't stand outside, come in." After hearing this, the rain village ninjas dared to enter the office. The ninja in charge of the autopsy said cautiously, "Master Hanzo, the autopsy report of the body is out." Hanzo nodded and motioned the ninja to continue. The ninja did not dare to delay and said quickly, "Based on the marks left on the body, we speculate that the murderer used a detonating talisman to blow up the messenger. But in the chakra marks left at the scene, we detected wind attributes. Detonating talismans and wind escape ninjutsu. Could it be done by Sand Village?" After listening to the autopsy report, Hanzo placed his suspicion on Sand Village. Detonating talismans and wind escape ninjutsu can be said to be the characteristics of Sand Village. He himself has had several experiences of fighting with Sand Village's elder Chio. The two sides can be said to be old enemies, but now Sand Village has just signed a peace agreement with Konoha and has been invaded by the Mist Village. He has no ability to send ninjas to the land of rain, let alone kill the messenger under his nose. Could it be ninjas from other ninja villages, rock ninjas or grass ninjas, or the ninjas from the hidden cloud village who have been ready to move? These people have no interest in the hidden cloud village. After ruling out the possibility of foreign ninjas, Hanzo asked the hidden cloud village ninja, "Is there anyone in the land of rain who is good at using explosive talismans?" The hidden cloud village ninja hesitated and looked at Hanzo carefully. His meaning was clear: the strongest and most skilled ninja in the land of rain is Hanzo, who can even use explosive talismans. Hanzo's face changed slightly, and his eyes became increasingly dangerous. The rain hidden ninja swallowed his saliva and said quickly, "Master Hanzo, besides you, the ninjas who are best at using detonating tags in the rain country should be Shaonan and Bai of the Akatsuki organization. They both mastered the secret technique of paper escape and have the ability to kill the jonin." Before the jonin finished speaking, Hanzo of the salamander turned ugly. Yes, he has always ignored the Akatsuki organization. This organization established under his nose is capable of killing and murdering jonin, but what he can't figure out is, if this is really done by the Akatsuki organization, then why did the Akatsuki organization kill the messenger? His act of sending the messenger is to release goodwill, and the cooperation between the two sides is more beneficial than harmful. In his opinion, the Akatsuki organization has no motive to kill the messenger at all, but his subordinates, and the Akatsuki organization just happen to have this ability. Did the Akatsuki organization deliberately kill the messenger to give him a warning? If so, he should consider the relationship between him and the Akatsuki organization. Just as Hanzo of the Salamander was thinking about the identity of the murderer, the ninja of the intelligence department walked into the office. Under the gaze of Hanzo, the ninja from the intelligence department did not waste words and directly took out the device for extracting the memory of the dead and played the last memory of the dead to Hanzo. After watching the video, Hanzo fell into silence. This secret technique of extracting the memory of the dead was the product of his cooperation with Danzo. The man in the black auspicious cloud uniform in the messenger's memory was obviously a ninja of the Akatsuki organization, but uniforms can never explain the problem. The key point is the boy in the picture. Although Hanzo has never seen Bai Ye, he feels that this person should be Bai Ye, a senior member of the Akatsuki organization. And Bai Ye's ability is to use detonating tags. After confirming Bai Ye's identity from his subordinates, Hanzo pondered for a few seconds. Many evidences currently point to Bai Ye. The only doubt is that since Bai Ye killed the messenger, why didn't he destroy the body along the way? For experienced ninjas, destroying or taking away the corpse is much more valuable than leaving the corpse behind. Byakuya should not have thought of this. At this time, the Amigakure Mergenin seemed to have thought of it and added, "Lord Hanzo, I heard that Byakuya is a hawk of the Akatsuki organization. He has always been at odds with other senior officials. Could it be that he acted without permission this time? Want to prevent the Akatsuki organization from cooperating with us?" The reminder from the Jonin Amigakure became the last piece of the puzzle in Hanzo's reasoning. If the Akatsuki organization had no idea of attacking the messenger, and the hawk Bai Ye had always made the decision, everything would make sense. The cooperation between Yuin village and the Akatsuki organization touches on Bai Ye's interests. So Bai Ye is good at taking action. Bai Ye, who was good at it, did not notify other high-level officials, nor did he get help from other high-level officials. That was why he was so panicked during the process of killing the messenger, and even forgot to destroy the body and eliminate traces. After reviewing the attack with Bai Ye's mind, Hanzo's face became uncertain. If Byakuya had made the decision to kill the messenger, then all they had to do was ask Yahiko and the others to hand over Byakuya, and the cooperation between the Akatsuki organization and Amigakure village could continue. However, those previous terms had to be slightly modified. There is such a madman in the organization, and Yahiko and others must pay the due price. As for whether the Akatsuki organization would refuse to hand over Byakuya, Sancho Hanzo had never considered it. Compared with the Hidden Rain village, the Akatsuki organization is as immature as children. In front of adults, disobedient children must either be obedient or have to be beaten. The Akatsuki organization only has two options: hand over the murderer, or hand over the murderer after being beaten up.